Did you ever hear the old saying that sometimes justice seems to take forever and then it comes all at once? Let's talk about the all at once part, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So it seems like we've been waiting forever to hear some indication that the Department of Justice was criminally investigating Donald Trump and his co-conspirators for their crimes against the United States, for their attempt to overturn the results of a presidential election, for the insurrection, for their attack on our democracy. The crimes they committed, really based even just on the public reporting and what we've seen with our own eyes on January 6th, the crimes they committed undoubtedly, inarguably, constitute a conspiracy to commit offenses against the United States or defraud the United States, what we call a 371 conspiracy in this big ugly blue book of federal laws, the United States Code. You can find it at 18 United States Code, Section 371. That's what Trump and company did. And we've been waiting forever for some indication that the Department of Justice was criminally investigating Trump and they were moving toward indicting him, holding him accountable for his many crimes. Heck, we had a federal judge announce, find, rule that Donald Trump, together with one of his treasonous lawyers, John Eastman, committed that federal crime, a conspiracy to defraud the United States. Plus, that same federal judge, Judge David Carter, found that Donald Trump and John Eastman committed a second federal felony, obstructing an official proceeding, the certification of Joe Biden's win. But we've been waiting and waiting for some indication that the Department of Justice had picked up the investigative ball and was running down the field. And until now, it has been radio silence from DOJ. Now, that is to be expected because the Department of Justice is not supposed to talk about pending criminal investigations, what crimes it's investigating, who is being investigated. I get that. But here's the thing. In big, significant, consequential criminal investigations, we generally know that the Department of Justice is using the power of the grand jury to conduct those criminal investigations. Why do we typically know about it? Why do we find out about it, even though DOJ says nothing about it? Well, we find out about it courtesy of what I call the leakers, the lawyers, and the liars. Bear with me, let me explain. When we're conducting criminal investigations, we are subpoenaing people to the grand jury. And that information tends to leak out into the public square, courtesy of leakers, lawyers, and liars. Let me take on liars first. And let me use as an example George Papadopoulos. You remember him? He was subpoenaed to the grand jury back during the Trump-Russia investigation. And he went running to the cameras and he told everybody about it. Oh, they're mistreating me, they're persecuting me, they're trying to get me to lie, they're subpoenaing me to the grand jury. Well, we learned about the fact that he'd been subpoenaed to the grand jury because he went out and talked about it, more precisely, lied about it. That is the liars piece of the leakers, lawyers, and liars. That's one way we find out that DOJ is conducting a criminal grand jury investigation, even though they don't announce it publicly. How about lawyers? Well, all of these witnesses, like George Papadopoulos, get lawyers when they're subpoenaed to the grand jury. And take it from me, take it from somebody who knows lots and lots and lots of people in the white-collar defense bar in D.C., those lawyers like to talk. Hey, guess who I'm representing? Hey, my client got subpoenaed to the grand jury. You know, they often like to play the game, who's got the more significant witness/target of a big federal grand jury investigation? Kind of pumps up their prestige. I never was a private practice guy. And so they talk about it. And so courtesy of the lawyers talking, the information tends to leak out into the public square that the Department of Justice is up and running in a criminal grand jury investigation. How about the leakers piece of the leakers, lawyers, and liars? There are leaks. The Department of Justice is a huge organization, about 110, 115,000 employees. It's got the FBI, it's got lots of federal prosecutors, it's got paralegals, lots of support staff, and sometimes DOJ employees will leak information out, whether intentionally or unintentionally. So, courtesy of leakers, lawyers, and liars, we generally learn that a federal grand jury investigation is up and running, even if the Department of Justice never tells us straight up. But we haven't heard anything from the leakers, the lawyers, or the liars about a criminal grand jury investigation into Donald Trump and his co-conspirators until recently. And recently there has been a veritable avalanche of information tumbling out into the public square about DOJ's criminal investigation of Trump and company. Here's a recent article by Rolling Stone that summarizes some of what we've learned. Headline: The DOJ's January 6th investigation appears to be closing in on Trump. And we learn things like the grand jury is subpoenaing Rudy Giuliani, John Eastman, Jenna Ellis, Donald Trump's corrupt lawyers who pushed the fraudulent elector scheme. They subpoenaed Mr. Green Bay Sweep himself, Peter Navarro, and the grand jury directed Navarro to provide information about his communications with Donald Trump. And there have been other indications recently that, yes, in fact, DOJ is at long last criminally investigating Donald Trump. So why is it that all of a sudden all of this information is tumbling out into the public square that DOJ is investigating Trump and company after we've had radio silence for so long? Can I take a stab at it? Last night I was on Dino Bidala's radio show on Sirius XM. Dean is a good friend and a strong voice for justice. And he and I were talking about this precise point. Why is it that all of a sudden we're learning about this DOJ criminal investigation? And after Dean and I discussed it last night, Newsweek actually picked up on our conversation and they did a story about it today. And here's the headline: DOJ accelerating Trump investigations ahead of January 6th hearings. And here was my take on why we're hearing about these things now. The flurry of activity from federal prosecutors could be in anticipation of a national outcry over why Trump and his allies have not already been charged. As to the question, why now? Well, could it be because the DOJ has gotten wind of precisely what the American people are going to see beginning on June 9 regarding the crimes of Donald Trump and his co-conspirators, and people are going to be screaming bloody murder, asking, why haven't they been indicted? We are about to see, with our own eyes, in living color, beginning on June 9, evidence presented by the January 6th Select Committee. We're going to see the crimes of Donald Trump and his co-conspirators, and we are going to be asking ourselves, why in the world have these criminals not been indicted for their crimes? So we have this flurry of DOJ activity. I'm not saying that it necessarily is because DOJ knows what the American people are about to know about Trump's crimes, how much evidence there is that can prove Trump's crimes. crimes beyond a reasonable doubt, but it sure looks that way. And let me finish where I started. There is that old saying that sometimes justice seems to take forever, and then it comes all at once. And I am so damn ready for the all at once part. Stay tuned, friends, and stay safe. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.